Good evening. Welcome to the Kennedy Center and the Millennium Stage, our free nightly performance series brought to you by Target. We're here 365 nights a year at 6 o'clock every single night, bringing you the best in music, theater, dance, and more. If you're ever unable to join us in person, you can find us online at www.kennedy-center.org, where we broadcast each night's performance live, as well as make our past performances available in our on-demand broadcast archive. Now, please join me in welcoming the ACT JT Troupe.
All right. Good evening. Oh, you don't seem so happy to see us. Good evening. All right, that's much better. How you all doing tonight? Good, excellent, wonderful. Well, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Tenshu. I'm born in New York originally. I grew up in Japan, and I've been there for the past 32 years. So I think I'm a little bit of an expert on the subject of Japan. I was introduced to Kyogen, which you're about to see, about 2 years ago. I was very fortunate to bump into an old comedian friend of mine who asked me to come along. I didn't know what I was getting myself into because I thought Kyogen was pretty much the same as No or Kabuki, which was monotonous, dragged out, kind of, not knowing what's going on kind of thing. And contrary to popular belief, it was actually the opposite. Now, how many of you are familiar with Kyogen? Well, of course, the Japanese people in front, yeah? Who is... Oh, wow, we got one person in the back there. All right. You sure you know about Kyogen? Really? Okay, wonderful. How many of you are familiar with No? Ah, there we go. A little more hands. Good, good. All right. Who knows Kabuki? Aha, see? Voila, look at that. Okay, let's give you a little history lesson on No, Kabuki, and Kyogen. First, we have No and Kyogen. These are twins from the same mother. This art form was established about 700 years ago, the oldest form of Japanese traditional theatrical performing arts. Kyogen and No originated probably somewhere from Chinese roots and came through and with Chinese music and whatnot, kind of combined with Japanese folklore, etc., and became an indigenous thing. First we had No, which was more of a popular and main side of both things. No dealt more with the spiritual world, the philosophical world, the dead afterworld, ooh, spooky stuff. And it was, as you might well guess, very strict and stringent and slow-moving. It was very operatic. It dealt a lot with music and had masks on, and that was the No. Then we had Kyogen, which was the mundane, the everyday life of people and their mishaps done in a comical way. So I mean, it would be, I guess, something equivalent to comedy and tragedy. Now, around 300 years ago, the samurai decided to take No and Kyogen and make it their own personal luxury. So the commoners were left with nothing. And what did they do? Out of necessity, they came up with Kabuki. Now, since No and Kyogen were officially the samurais, the commoners were not allowed to copy exactly what No Kyogen had to perform, so they decided to take their own little interpretations of it and make their own thing of Kabuki. Now, on a No stage, basically, which is what this represents tonight, it was done at an open-air shrine way back when, and it was a sacred place for people to be on. It was a play that was offered up to the gods. And so anyone that comes on the No stage, 100 years ago, if you were white, you'd probably get your head chopped off. But that's beside the point. If you were on the No stage, you have to wear these sacred shoes. Well, not sacred shoes, but shoes that did not defile the sacred stage because they're also made from very expensive wood. And there are no props. Now, this is one thing that you'll notice. There'll be no props on this stage today when you watch Kyogen. In a traditional No theater, you'll have a big tree in the back there. Now that tree is a pine tree, the tree of longevity. It's the tree of the deities. The gods live in the tree. It's the Shimbok, which means the tree of God. And they decided to put that there because originally there was nothing there, and that was like just too blah. So they needed some coloration, and they decided to think, what should we put? They could have put a Mount Fuji in there, but that would kind of put you in a specific place. If it were a pine tree, it would mean it could be anywhere in Japan, which was exactly ideal for what Kyogen was trying to portray. Another thing, let's see. There are no props, or hardly any props. No uses a lot of masks and music, as opposed to Kyogen, which doesn't use masks as often and doesn't use as many props. But they do use props every now and again. And when they do, they're kind of exaggerated or overly done. So this is kind of the humoristic part of it. So now that you know a little bit of history of No and Kyogen, and Kabuki later on, because they weren't, like I was mentioning, they weren't allowed to take anything officially from No and Kyogen, they decided to make their own things. That's why Kabuki is very boisterous, very loud and vivacious, jumping around stage and doing everything over-exaggerated and making things their own, sort of their own way. And that developed 300 years ago, and from that 300-year history, Kabuki has got its own place in the history of Japan as far as theatrical performing arts. Everybody with me so far? All right, great. I think that's enough history for now. Let me introduce you to what's going to be happening here on. Tonight's performance is, and you are very fortunate, by the way, because you have two of the most prominent Kyogen performers. One is the national living treasure of Japan, Mr. Nomura Man, and his son, Mr. Nomura Manzo IX. And Mr. Nomura Manzo IX is an intangible cultural heritage delegated by Japan. Now, another thing I forgot to mention, Kyogen and No was by UNESCO in 2001 delegated as the first of its kind, an intangible cultural heritage. Try to say that 3 times real fast. Intangible cultural heritage. So it's the longest existing, currently running theatrical performance in the world. Now, tonight's performance is called Kagyu. Kagyu is translated as snail. And tonight's story deals with a snail in a particular sense, but it deals with a master who is getting ready to give his uncle, who's been living for a long time already, a little medicinal gift for his longevity. This medicinal gift consists of snails. I guess back in the day, if they kind of crushed up snails or whatever form it was that they gave it to them, that was their elixir for long life. So the master tells his servant to go out and find a snail so he can give it to his uncle. The servant doesn't know what a snail is, God forbid. So the master has to explain to his servant that a snail has a black head and sometimes protrudes its horns every now and again. You can tell because it's got a shell with it. And if it's left out in the wild long enough and nobody disturbs it, it can grow to be as big as a man. So the servant goes, aha, got it. Where can I find this snail? Go to the bamboo shoot, bamboo brush. So the servant goes to the bamboo brush. Now, in the meantime, another interesting character in this performance is called the Yamabushi. The Yamabushi is a priest, a guy of supernatural powers, so to speak. He is a guy that has gone and hermited himself in the mountains, has gone through stringent and hard trials and tribulations, basically to earn his spirituality. And they're often very, very revered people because they've lived through all these treacherous and life-threatening situations to have received enlightenment of some sort. And these are people that you're usually called upon to do exorcisms or get rid of evil spirits and so on and so forth. So anyway, this Yamabushi, who you will be able to tell right away, he walks with a funny walk. Mostly what the walk of the Kyogen and No people do is it's called the suriashi, where they scrape their legs across the stage and walk. Now, usually one circle around the stage will be moving from position A to position B. This could be within your house. This could be from New York to Washington, D.C. It happens very, very fast, so they're not wasting any time. So anyway, the Yamabushi walks with his legs raised. Now, this is basically a description of him walking up and down the mountains, and that's why that is his particular walk. And also notice his interesting uniform and outfit. So, the servant goes, looks for the snail. He finds the snail that he thinks is a snail. And, well, let's see what happens. Now, another thing you might want to know is a little song that comes along halfway or towards the end of the play. This is an old nursery rhyme. And the nursery rhyme basically deals or goes something like, snail, snail, come out, whether it's raining or whether it's not. And the answer to that is, den, dem, wishy, wishy, den, dem, wishy, wishy. In other words, the snail saying, I'm coming, don't break my shell, kind of thing. Okay, so all these little notes to keep in mind. Everybody taking notes, you're right? Okay. All right, so once you know that, I think you'll have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. The rest is basically up to you. Use your imagination. That's what Kyogen is all about. That's why they don't have anything on the stage. Basically, it's up to you and your imagination from what the actors portray to enjoy it to the fullest. Now, remember, it is a comedy. Okay? So there should be laughter. Laugh where you will. It's, to each his own. Every person has their own points of laughter for certain things. A lot of people will probably agree on the same points of laughter and humor that will appear during the stage. But feel free to laugh out loud, have a good time, enjoy yourself. That's what it's all about. Your laughter encourages the actors, and the actors, therefore, will perform even better for you. So, without any further ado, please welcome Kagyu. Dozo.
「 りのものでござる。それがし寿命もめでたい大事語をもってござる。これにカタツムリを心情を申せば、なおなおご寿命をご長女と申す。それにつき太郎冠者を呼び出し、申し作ることがござる。太郎冠者あるか。いたか。
お前に
縁の早かった。汝を呼び出すは別のことでない。なんとこちの大事語のようなめでたいお方はあるまいな。
御意なさるる通り、めでたい王子御様でござる。
さてこれにカタツムリを心情を申せば、なおなおご寿命をご長女と申す。それにつき汝は大義ながら、今からいてカタツムリを取ってきてくれ。
かしこまってはござれども、カタツムリと申すものはどのようなものやら、またどこもとにあるものやらも存じません。これはご許されません。
やぶにたくさんなるものじゃ。
やぶにござりまするか。
まず頭の黒いもので、腰に貝をつけ、折々は角を出すものじゃ。
角を出しまするか。
香料を下手は人ほどもあると聞いた。随分念の入れて、よいカタツムリを取ってきてくれ。
その旦那そっともお気遣いなされまするな。
急いでいてやがて戻れ。
これは下級なことを仰せつけられた。まず急いで参ろう。まことにこちの王子御様のようなめでたいお方はござらん。これにカタツムリを心情を申せば、なおなおご寿命をご長女と申す。いや、何かといううちにやぶへ来た。まず中へ入ってみよう。いえいや殿。さてもびょうびょうと打ち開いた大きなやぶじゃ。さてかのカタツムリはどこもとにあることじゃしら。まず頭の黒いもので、腰に貝をつけ、折々は角を出すとやら仰せる。His head is black. 起こして尋ねよう。いや、これ。ちょっと起きてたもれ。ちょっと起きてたもれ。ちょっと起きてたもれ。ちょっと起きてたもれ。
かな寝たことかな。たった一寝入りにした。ほうほう。今おこいたは何時か。
さようでござる。
何の用で起こした。
Excuse me? Are you snake?
なんじゃカタツムリでないか。
さようでござる。
それはまたどうしたことじゃ。
カタツムリと申すものは頭の黒いものと承ってござる。見ますればお前のつむりが黒をござるによってもしカタツムリ殿ではござらぬかと申すことでござる。
なんという身どもの頭が黒いによってカタツムリでないかというか。
さようで
し
ござる。
ばらくそれに待て。
心得ました。
これはいかなこと。山伏を捕らえてカタツムリでないかと申す。やつは愚か者そうな。散々なぶってやろうと存ずる。いやいや、汝は幸せ者じゃ。身どもはカタツムリじゃ。
すれば私は幸せ者でござる。ああ、カタツムリは腰に貝があると仰せられましたが、貝がござるか。
貝が見たいか。
どうござる。
おっつけ見せてやろう。しばらくそれに待て。
心得ました。
そりゃそりゃそりゃそりゃ、なんと見事な貝であろう。
まことに見事な貝でござる。また折々は角を出すと仰せられましたが、角がござるか。
なんじゃ角が見たい。
なかなか。
しばらくそれに待て。
心得ました。
これはいかなこと。この角にはほど詰まった。なんとしたものであろう。致しようがござる。いやいや、角を見しょうが必ず人に言うな。
かないかな申すことではござる。
それへでよ。
心得ました。
そりゃそりゃそりゃそりゃ、
まことに角が出ました。すれば疑いもないカタツムリ殿でござる。どうぞ私の頼もだものの方へおいでなされてくだされ。
それはいてやりたいものなれども、この中方々の大地語にカタツムリが流行って一節暇がない。行くまい。
これは気の毒でござる。お目にかかったが幸いでござる。三役をお断りなされて、どうぞ私の方へおいでなされてくだされ。
これほどに言うによっていてもやろうが、ただは行かれん。 何時に追われてゆこう。
私はずっと非力にござるによってどうぞ歩いておいでなされて
いやいや、歩いてはゆかれ。いや、それならば林物に乗ってゆこうか。
それは難しいことでござる。
別に難しいことではない。ものということじゃ。
なんとでござる。
雨も風も吹かぬに出坂間打ち割ろう。出坂間打ち割ろうといえば、みどもがでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしと言うて雨季に浮いてゆくことじゃ。
それならば早速早いてみましょう。
そうそう、早せ早せ。
心得ました。雨も風も吹かぬに出坂間打ち割ろう。出坂間打ち割ろう。
むしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむし。
雨も風も吹かぬに出坂間打ち割ろう。
それそれ。
坂間打ち割ろう。
でんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむし。
雨も風も吹かぬに出坂間打ち割ろう。
器用なやつじゃ。でんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむし。
雨も風も吹かぬに出
さて
坂間
面白いことじゃ。
坂間打ち割ろう。
でんでんむしむしでんでんむしむし。
雨も風も吹かぬに出坂間
それそれ。
出坂間打ち割ろう。
でんでんむしむしでんでんむしむし。
雨も風も吹かぬに出坂間
それそれ。
出
カタツムリを取りにそうはしてござる。帰りが遅いに参ろうと存ずる。むしむし。いかなこと。いやいや、いかろうかじゃ。
頼むなお方。
汝はそれに何をしている。
ただいまカタツムリ殿をお供いたすところ。
いやいや、早さぬかいやい。早さぬかいやい。
心得ました。雨も風も吹かぬに出坂間
それそれ。はいかなこと。
打ち割ろう。
抜かれおったそうだ。でんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむし さぬかいあい早さぬかいあい
あなたは山伏じゃげな。
千番な山伏ということがあるものか。これを下手な
おう。雨も風も吹かぬに手坂まう
それそれさて何がしいことかな。あろうかじゃあろうかじゃやいたろうかじゃはったりともてあれは山伏でマイスじゃわいやい。
マイスに極まりましたか。
いやいやい早さぬかいやい早さぬかいやい。
やいそこなやつ。
なんじゃ。
己は山伏でマイスじゃげな。
でんでんむしむし
あれあれ角も出しまする。
でんでんむしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむし
雨も風も吹かぬに手坂
それよかじゃあろうかじゃやいたろうかじゃさりとて脇を張ったりともてあれは山伏でマイスじゃわいや。むしむし
極まりましたか。
そこをのけへん。
りました。
いやいやいやいそこなやつなんじゃ。さてさて己は憎いやつのなぜこっちのものを騙した。なんじゃ騙したなかなかでんでんむしむしこれはいかなことを
角を出しまする。
むしむしでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむし雨も風も吹かぬに手坂まうちわろう手坂まうちわろうでんでんむしむしでんでんむしむし
雨も風も吹かぬに手坂まうちわろう手坂
Did you enjoy that? Oh, wonderful. Okay, there might be a little few gaps in there that you're wondering maybe what happened and why. For example, the first part. He was here, sleeping, and then the master and the servant came in. The guy was still there. Actually, the guy doesn't exist there anymore. This is like a split-screen TV. You don't see him, really. You like that, huh? Yeah. So he's basically sleeping, and while everything's happening on this side of the stage, he is non-existent. And when the scene changes, he comes back into existence because he's being noticed by the servant in the bamboo forest. Another point of interest that I forgot to mention, sorry, about it, was that the servant is very, very gullible. And the old man, the priest, is basically making a prank out of or taking a prank on, playing a prank on the servant by telling him he's actually the snail. Obviously, the guy is gullible enough to believe that. Now, the old priest wants him to carry him all the way home, but the guy says, no, I'm too puny, I can't carry you home. Why don't you walk with me? He's like, hey, I'm not going to walk unless you entertain me and make a little song out of this whole thing. And that's where the nursery rhyme comes in. So finally, they are enjoying themselves going on their way home while singing and dancing. And eventually, the master comes up and goes, dang, it's taking too long. What's up with that? So he comes out and looks, and he sees the servant dancing with the priest. And he can't figure it out. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you dancing with a priest? He's like, he's not a priest. He's a snail. I brought back a snail for you. And so the master goes, no, that's a priest. Anyway, to make a long story short, was it the priest's spiritual influence that got them all dancing in the end and walking off happily, merrily ever after? Or was it just an enticement of entertainment? Well, that's up to you to imagine. But that was Kagyu, the snail. Hope you enjoyed that. Now that you got a little bit more of an insight of what's happening on stage. Okay. In the meantime, we are setting up for the next performance. And the next performance I will be the narrator for, and I'll explain to you what happens there. These are our musicians. Our musicians were actually going to be on stage, but we have little technical difficulties, so they'll be down here. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. That's Wada-san and Inaba-san. Yep. Wada-san is the percussionist, and Inaba-san is the wind section. And he actually plays an old, traditional, very, very old, almost religious instrument called the sho. Show everybody the show, please. There we go. That's a sho. It was used for religious ceremonies before? Yes. Ne. Hi. So this will be used today as the entertainment section for the next play that's about to happen. This play is basically a modern play that takes place 400 years ago. What we are trying to do with this whole era thing is we had another performance actually that wasn't done today, it was done yesterday, called Dai Dengaku. Dai Dengaku was done 1,000 years ago. So we're dealing with 1,000 years ago, and then we got Kyogen dealing with 700 years ago, and then we have the modern Japanese theatrical performance arts, which was a reading performance, which we're about to see now. So hopefully by having witnessed all three of these, you kind of get an idea of what kind of transformation Japan went through, what they have kept close to the heart as far as the cultural aspects is concerned, and what they've actually incorporated from other places. A lot of the things obviously are very, very influenced by other places, but they've been taken and made into their own essence. And what the essence that remains is basically what we have today. So, are we ready? Okay. We are ready. Another thing you might want to notice is these people in black, they don't exist either. Right. This is a black person that doesn't exist. He's invisible. You did not see him. Stop clapping. You don't see him. He's not there. All right. These are very, very valuable assets to our stage. They help us remove things and put things on and help us get dressed and whatnot. They are like the supporting actors, if you will, of what happens on stage. Without them, we would be in such big trouble, as with all the lighting and the sound people and everybody else. Thank you very much. Now, we would like to start with... with Tenshu Monogatari. どうぞ。Now, the story you are about to be presented, Tenshu Monogatari, is a story that was written about 90 years ago. The author is Keiko Izumi. Keiko Izumi is a novelist born in Kanazawa, Japan, known for his unique literary style, which is often filled with romanticism and a world of fantasy. Rather than write about the mundane world, he preferred to write about the supernatural, spiritual world. This story, Tenshu Monogatari in particular, has a female phantom as the main character. In any age, there has never been a time when war was not part of this world. In any world, man has repeatedly fought somewhere without exception. This story is a story of the Warring States period of Japan. This story takes place approximately 400 years ago, where in Europe it would be around the same time Shakespeare was born. The story's protagonist, Lady Tomi, or Tomihime, once lived in this castle as the wife of the lord of the castle. However, when the enemy attacked, the lord committed suicide by way of harakiri, or seppuku, and the lady took her own life also, cursing this world. When she took her life, the lion mask, a symbol of the spiritual world, sympathizing with her anguish, resurrected her as a phantom to dwell in the castle. That is why Tomihime scorns and detests humans, especially the samurai, who do nothing but war. Now, Tomihime has gone for a recreational walk today, but her sister, Kamehime, is paying her a visit, so Tomihime has just returned.
あれ、奥様がお帰りでございますよ。
出迎えかい？ご苦労だね。時々不意と気まかせに野脇のような出歩きを。夜叉ヶ池まで参ったよ。雨を頼みに行きました。夜叉ヶ池のお雪様は激しい中におゆかしい。野は黒くも尾上は瑠璃。皆あの方のお計らい。ああ、お亀様にもこのままでは失礼だろう。着替えましょうか。
これは岩城の国会津郡十文字ヶ原青川のあたりにまかりある欧州変化の先達印伝館の主主の万坊でござる。すなわち猪苗代の城亀姫様のお供をいだし まかり出ましてござる。
お亀様、
お姉様、お懐かしい。
私もお懐かしい。この頃はタバコも召し上がるそうだね。
ええ、お酒も。
困りましたね。
あなたを旦那様にはいたすまいし。
ほら、憎らしい口だ。よくそれで猪苗代からこの姫路まで手まりをつきにわざわざここまでおいでだね。
でございますから、お姉様は私がおかわゆうございましょう。
いいえ、お憎らしい。
ご勝手。
やっぱりおかわいい。まあ、どれお見せ。きれいな手まり、私にも持ってきてくださればよいものを。
お姉様には格別のお土産が。
それはお嬉しいが、お亀様は人が悪い。おもたせのこのお宮はこの姫路の城の殿様の顔によく似ているではござんせんか。うり二つだね。
はい、私がひさしを貸す猪苗代亀頭の主、武田右衛門之助の首でございますよ。
まあ、あなた、私のためにそんなことを。
構いません。それに誰も私がいたしたとは知りませんもの。
ねえ、お前、うりを二つは知れたこと。この首はね、この姫路の城の主武田播磨守とは血を分けた兄弟だよ。ちょっと獅子にお供え申そう。
Tomihime's sister, Kamehime, has brought a freshly severed head as a souvenir. The joyous Tomihime makes an offering to the lion mask.
お姉様、お羨ましいその獅子頭。
え？
旦那様がおいで遊ばす。
まあ、嘘がまことにお互いに。
何の不足はないけれど、
こんな男が欲しいね。
あ、お姉様忘れていた。早くあのお約束の手まりをついて遊びましょうよ。
ああ、遊びましょう。高き空へ。あなたは担当声がいいから、また美しい声が響くと下の者たちが立ち騒いでおうるさい。あ、お山伏は女たちと一献お組がよいよ。
吉祥天女ごくどくでござる。ごくどくごくどく酒をいただき申す。うまいうまい。そうじゃ、富姫様、なんぞ魚に一つうともってくだされぬか。
私が姉さん三人ござる。一人姉さん鼓が上手。一人姉さん太鼓が上手。一ちょいのが下屋にござる。
それ
下屋一番だ手車でござる。二両でおびこて三両
それよそれよ。
くけねくけねに七ふささげて、折り目折り目にいろはと書いて。
いや、さすが富姫様。さてもさても美しいお声でござった。姉姫様、お立ち。
お姉様、今度はあなたが私の城へ。
はい。ああ、鷹狩りが帰ってきた。
まあ、翼の白い羽の雪のようないい鷹。
おお、あなた、あの鷹をお宮に取ってあげましょうね。
まあ、どうやってあれを？
見ておいで。それは姫路の富だもの。人間の目には羽衣を着た鶴に見える。それ。
まあ、お涼しいお姉様。お心づくし、お嬉しや。さらば。
さらばや。
カチカチカチカチカチカチカチカチカチカチ。
とりゃんせとりゃんせ、ここはどこの細道じゃ、細道じゃ。
The banquet has ended, and the darkness of night has deepened. It is then the unexpected shadow of a person, a young samurai. He has wandered to the top of the castle in search of his master's falcon. It is the same falcon that Tomihime has given her sister, Kamehime, as a souvenir. But the young samurai has no idea about this. This is a meeting of human and phantom that should not be happening.
誰？
はっ、それがし、私は東条の播磨の神に仕うる武士の一人でございます。
何しに見えた？
大殿様ご秘蔵の日本一の鷹がそれまして、お天守のこの辺りへ隠れました。行方を求めよとの御意でございます。
五重に参って見届けた上、いかが計らえとも言われなかったか。
お天守は殿様のものでございます。いかなることがありましょうとも、私一存にて何と計らおうとも決して存じませぬ。
お待ち。この天守は私のものだよ。
それはあなたのものかもしれませぬ。また殿様は殿様でご自分のものだと御意遊ばすかもしれませぬ。しかしいずれにいたせよ、私のものではないことは確かでございます。自分のものでないものを殿様の仰せも待たずにどうしようとも思いませぬ。
涼しい言葉だね。その心なれば私も無事に返してあげます。
明賀に存じます。
今度は播磨が申し聞けても決して来てはなりません。ここは人間の来るところではないのだから。 誰も参らぬように。
いや、私が参らぬ以上は誰一人参りますものはございますまい。皆命が大切でございますから。
お前は命は欲しゅうなかったのか。
私は司祭あって殿様のご不興を受け、お目通りを遠ざけられ閉門のところ、誰もお天守へ上がりますものがないために急にお呼び出してございました。そのご上司は実は私に切腹仰せつけのところを急にお模様替えになったのでございます。
ではこの役目が済めば切腹は許されますか。
そのお約束でございました。
人の生き死には構いませんが切腹はさしたくない。私は武士の切腹は嫌いだから。しかし思いがけなくお前の命を救いました。悪いことではない。今夜はいい夜だ。それではおかえり。
ごめん。
The falcon that Tomihime caught belonged to the young samurai's master. The young samurai was ordered to do seppuku by his master for displeasing him. However, he was exempt in return for finding the falcon. Detesting warring samurai, Tomihime would normally kill samurai. However, she sent the young samurai back to his world. The pureness and beauty of the young samurai's heart has stirred riplets of curiosity on the placid lake of Tomihime's soul. However, the young samurai has returned yet again to the top of the castle because his light has been put out by a large bat and he could not find his way.
また見えたか。
は、夜陰と申し、再度お騒がせいたし、誠に恐れ入りました。大コウモリの黒い翼にぼんぼりの灯火を仰ぎ消されまして、いかにとも身体度を失いましたにより、火をいただきに参りました。
二度とおいででないと申した私の言葉を忘れましたか。
月の影もささず、下に向かえば真の闇。男が足を踏み外し片輪になどなりましては生きがいもないと存じます。上を見ればかすかにお分かりがさしました。お咎めをもって命を召されようとも、男といたしはしごから落ちて怪我をするよりはと存じ、御戒めをもはばからず推算いたしてございます。
ああ、爽やかなお心。そしてあなたはお勇ましい。明かりをつけてあげましょうね。
はは。
Tomihime has lit the young samurai's candle. She has fallen in love with the young samurai.
返したくなくなった。もう返すまいと私は思う。
え？
あなたは播磨があなたに切腹を申しつけたと言いました。それは何の罪でございます？
殿様が日本一とてご秘蔵の 白い鷹をこのお天守へそらしました。その落ち度でございます。
鷹には鷹の世界がある。清い林、朝嵐夕風の爽やかな空があります。決して人間の持ち物ではありません。大名何度というものが思い上がった行き過ぎなあの鷹をただ独り占めに自分のものとつけ上がりしています。あなたはそうは思いませんか？
Tomihime and the young samurai are having a discussion regarding the falcon. Tomihime cannot tolerate the nerve of humans to take what is nature's and claim it belongs to them, then orders someone to do seppuku if they cannot retrieve the lost bird. The young samurai, on the other hand, comes from a feudal world, where the orders of his master are law, and if he fails, he must die for it. The heart of the young samurai is moved by the words of Tomihime.
美しく気高い、そして計り知られぬ威厳のある姫君、あなたにはお答えができかねます。
いえいえ、角立てて言い込めるのではありません。私の申すことが少しなりともお分かりになりましたら、その筋道のわからないご家中の世間へなどもうお帰りなさいますな。腹を切らせる殿様の代わりに私の心をあげましょう。私の命をあげましょう。あなたお帰りなさいますな。
迷いました姫君。殿に近鉄の我が心も波打つばかり濃乱をいたしますが、決心がつきません。私は親にも聞きたし、師にも教えられたし、書物にも聞かねばなりません。おいとまを申し上げます。
あなたはまだ世の中に未練がある。それではお帰りなさいまし。
途方に暮れつつ参ります。迷いの多い人間を哀れとばかりおぼしめせ。
優しいそのお言葉でなお返したくなくなった。獅子に似た若いお方、お名が聞きたい。
夢のような仰せなれば、姫川図書之助と申します。
嬉しいお名忘れません。
以後お天守下の行き会には誓って礼拝をいたします。ごめん。
図書様、しばらくお花向けがあるのです。清い爽やかなあなたのために印の品をあげましょう。これをその印にお持ちなさいまし。
いやいや、まさかとはとんずるなり、お家のお宝清流の御兜、これにこそ足のつま立つばかり心急ぎがいたします。おいとまを申し受けます。
今度来ると返しません。
誓って
さらば。
は。
まことの恋は心と心。 あの方を私にくださいまし。
Tomihime and the young samurai have told each other their names and have parted. The young samurai's name is Zushonosuke. In this era, for a man and woman to divulge their first names to each other meant a commitment to love each other. Although Zushonosuke was attracted to Tomihime, his resolve wavered, and he returned to the human world. Tomihime gave Zushonosuke an armored headpiece as a farewell gift. However, when Zushonosuke returned to his world, he is accused of stealing the headpiece, and his life is in danger from his master and his peers.
図書様、
姫君、お言葉も顧みず三度の推算をお許しください。私を賊謀反人逆賊と申して。
よく存じておりますよ。昨日今日今までお互いに友と呼んだ人たちがいかに殿の仰せとて手の裏を返すようにようあなたに刃を向けます。
はい、微塵も知らない罪のために人間同士に殺されましては同じ人間諦められない。あなたのお手にかかります。
武士たちの仲間ならばあなたのお命を取りましょう。私と一緒にはいつまでもお生き続きなさいまし。
お情け余るお言葉ながら生きようとて打っての八つ腹決して生かしておきません。早くお手にかけくださいまし。あなたに命を取られればもうこの上のない本もさ命をこういううちにも取り詰めてまいります。
いいえ、ここまでは来ますまい。
五重のその段そのはしごをネズミのごとく上がりつ下りついたしおる。すでに私の各参ったを認めております。こういううちにもたった今。
ああ、それもそう。何より先にあなたをおかくまい申しておこう。獅子が幌のうちに隠れるがよい。さ、この中へ。
いや、金城鉄壁。
いいえ、柔らかい。
仰せの通り真綿よりも。
そして私にしっかりおつかまりなさいまし。
失礼、ごめん。
Tomihime and Zushonosuke, being cornered, hide behind the symbol of the spiritual world, the lion mask. However, a samurai who has come up chasing Zushonosuke finds the lion mask and pierces its eyes. With eyes pierced, Tomihime and Zushonosuke are blinded, and their world is enveloped in darkness. Yeah! Oh, omnious, incredible, beautiful, standing figure of a woman I see. Zusho Himekawa! There is no mistaking you have crawled under the cloth of the lion's mask in desperation for your life. Come out, traitor! By order of the master, I, Kuhei Yamazumi, am here. Stab his spears! Yeah! A spirit dwells even in a wood carving. 'Tis the same as a live wild beast. Aim for the eyes! Aim for the eyes! Yeah! Yeah!
目が見えない。無念。
誰の首だ。お前たち目のある者はよく見よ。
Oh my God! It's the head of the master! The head of Master Haribo! You ferocious, hideous demon! We're not meant to be here! Retreat! Retreat!
姫君、どこにおいでになさいます。姫君、私は目が見えなくなりました。姫君。
あなた、私も目が見えなくなりました。 図書様、どこに？
姫君、どこに？
私の方が見えなくなってはただお命さえ助けられない。堪忍してくださいまし。
悔やみません。姫君、あなたのお手にかけてください。
人手にはかけますまい。その代わり私も生きてはおりません。私も本望でございます。あなたのお手にかかるのが。
まことのお声か、姫君。
お顔が見たい、ただ一目。千歳も元瀬にただ一度、たった一度の恋なのに。前世も後世もいらないが、せめてこうしていたい。
The two, now blinded, have nowhere to run. They decide to take each other's lives and perish.
覚悟をしました。姫君、私よ。
私はあなたに未練がある。いや、助けたい未練がある。
猶予をするとうってのやつ、人間仲間にほふられます。あなたが手にかけてくださらずば、自分我が手で。
切腹はいけません。ああ、是非もない。それでは私がご解釈、舌を噛み切ってあげましょう。それと一緒に着物束ねを、この私の胸をその太刀で一思いに。
せめてそのものをおっしゃるあなたのほのかな口元だけでも見えたらばな。
あなたのまつげ一筋なりと。
待て、まず待て。美しい人たち泣くな。どれ、目を開けてあげよう。
Here is Toroku, the woodcarver, who carved the lion mask. Toroku repairs the eyes, and light returns once again to Tomihime, Zushonosuke, and to the world.
どうだ、それ見えよ。ちゃんと開いた。嬉しそうに開いた。おお、もう終わろうか。たがよ、たがよ。
あなたは
誰かの櫛にボタンも刻めば、この獅子頭もおった。近江の城登録という丹波の国の幼児削りさ。
まあ、こんな姿を恥ずかしい。
むつまじい二人、苦労の挙句は休め、安らかに一寝入りするがいい。Let there be light on the world of man. Let there be moonlight, though the world be at war. The butterfly takes flight. The Nadeshiko and the Kikyo bloom. バカめ、祭りだと思って騒げ。槍刀、弓や鉄砲、騒げ騒げ、城のやつら。
人の世に光が差す。月の光あれ、 世は戦でも蝶が舞う、なでしこも桔梗も咲く。Let there be light on the world of men. Let there be moonlight. Butterfly takes flight. The Nadeshiko and the Kikyo bloom.
Bye. Thank you. Yeah, no, our lights has been cut off. Our electricity has been cut off. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you next time. Bye.